Your husband, you meet him. Mm-hmm. He was working on the show. Mm-hmm. Was it eye contact? Was it love at first sight? When did you know, like, okay, he all right. I can see me kissing on it.
Well, the funny thing is, I did not know him at first. He was behind the scenes or whatever. And a friend of mine, well, actually, Don Juan was like, Todd had came to set one day, and they had a conversation. He was like, "Oh, that Todd, he's a cool guy, whatever." Right. And then somebody else was like, "Oh yeah, Todd, he's super, super cool." And I'm like, "That's the second person."
Yeah, okay. Well, I might need to know Todd.
I was just like, "Who is this?" So anyway, I was in Africa, and a friend of mine was a producer on the show. She was like, "I know somebody who want to take you out," and I was like, "Who?" She said, "Todd." I said, "Todd? That's this Todd again." So I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to find out who Todd is. Right. And I saw him, and then he didn't say nothing to me. He didn't even speak. Right. He was just like, walk right past me. So I was like, I saw her. I was like, I thought you said he wanted to take me out. Right. And she was like, well, I don't know why he didn't say anything, but he definitely said that. Right. But then later on, we ended up having a conversation, and we hit it off, and he kissed me.
What?
Just out. Yeah, like we had been talking all night. Right. And then he just went in and kissed me, and I was like caught off guard. Right. Because some guys don't want to be so forward, right? But I liked it. I was like, okay, he's not intimidating, whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, okay,
but he messed it up. You remember Hitch? You supposed to go, you go 70, then she come 30. You don't go all the way to 100, Todd.
Nah, he went 100. I actually like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of a 100 type. Anyway. So I was like, oh, okay. Right. And so when we came back to the States, we, started hanging out and went out, but he really wasn't supposed to be dating me.
No.
Because he was working on the
show. And that's an absolute.
Yeah, so we were dating in secret at first. And then after a while, I was like, okay, I can't be doing all this hiding. Yeah. I'm too old for this, So, he made the decision to leave the show.
Wow. Yeah. That man gave up his career for you.
That's what everybody says. Like, his friends was like, don't do it. You should do it. But see, here's the thing. I mean, we were only dating like 6 months at that time. But I felt like we had a strong connection. The thing that I loved about Todd is he knew things that I didn't know. Meaning like, business-wise and stuff like that. And we just connected on things we wanted to do in life and all that stuff. And I just was kind of like, he was making good money in the show. I know everybody's tried to like play him like, oh, he didn't make what I make. Right. But he made good money.
Yeah, he behind the camera. He shouldn't make what you were making. You were in front of him.
He wasn't even a cameraman. He was a producer. Oh.
I got
that was the rumors that they put out that he was a cameraman.
Yeah, they were producer. I got sources.
Yeah, no, he was at first he was a production manager, and then he was a line producer. Right. But anyway, but yeah, so I was just like, yeah, he knew things that I was like. So basically, I just told him, I was like, man, we can make that money. Right. Like us coming together, like we can make the money that you over there. And I feel like sometimes when people have a comfortable situation, right, they be like, okay, I don't know if I should step all the way out on faith for you because I don't know if this gonna be like. Right. And I'm like, dude, we can do this. Right. So we had put together this event like a couple weeks after he stopped working with them, and we had made a nice bag. Right. You know what I mean? We both put our minds to it, our team, we put it together. And I, not to say how much we made, but he was like, oh yeah, we could keep this, like we could keep running it up. Right. Yeah. So he was in.
You say the key to marriage is communication. Uh-huh. You say you're not the greatest communicator.
He's a better communicator than me.
So that means, but you work to communicate.
Yeah, I have to. Meaning because, I'm different in a sense of like, okay, I know how to work my battles with my husband. Right. First of all, we don't really argue that much. Right. But he's a Leo, and he likes to have his way all the time. Yeah. But, I guess maybe because I've been in a group, I kind of know how to pick and choose my battles. Okay. Right? Yeah. So for the most part, I let him have his way,
Or at least make him think so.
Well, for the most part, right? If it's anything that I feel super strong about, that's when it has to be a conversation. And sometimes that can get uncomfortable.
Right. Okay.
You know, but the arguments don't last.
Right.
We don't like stay in it forever.
How do you keep the outside noise? Because that's the relationship, especially you're on a reality television show, but the outside noise, how do you keep that at bay?
I've always been really good at not caring what other people think.
Okay.
Like if I cared what other people thought about me, then I would have been like left behind a long time ago.
Right.
So I don't really care about other people's opinions. Like I like what I like, I want what I want, and I make that work. You know?
You know what? I mean, in your show, you have kids now be a surrogate. I mean, so how was that? Because being reality television, you have your life play out in front of everybody, as opposed to you seem like you're a very private person where you were a very private person.
Back in the day.
Now you give up the privacy, you give up the anonymity to have your life play out on television.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Well, it's something you get used to over time.
Right.
So now obviously this is my 14th season that I just finished. So now it's just part of what it is. But even with making decisions like, when I had fertility issues, doing IVF and including the world in that experience, I know that I ain't the only one that's dealing with this, so it helps other people to see me go through that process. Or even when we decide to do the surrogate on our last child, Blaze, we still included the world in what was happening. And yeah, I know a lot of people had opinions, but it helps a lot of people.
Yeah, so because a lot of times people's like, well, rich people have it. They don't have any problems. They don't have pregnancy issues. They don't have this. They don't have that. They think they think money solves everything.
Right.
It's just that you have the situation. You have the means to probably help solve some of those, but you still have those issues.
Right. Of course. We do have lots of problems. People be thinking everything goes or works for me, and it just doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just that I just keep pushing, so you constantly seeing something come together. So you don't really see all the things that didn't go right.
When raising kids on television, is that something that you thought you would ever do? Because if I'm not mistaken, you had a daughter.
Yeah, my daughter Riley.
When you first started.
Yeah.
And you didn't, you tried to play it cool. You didn't put on a whole lot, but she was.
She was on, my daughter, she's 20 now.
Right.
So she kind of grew up on television.
Right.
It's funny. People feel like they know Riley.
Right.
But she was only like 6 then, and, I'm a single mom.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people have been privy to the drama within that situation. And yeah, that was kind of tough dealing with that.
Right.
On television.
So
sure.
You have no regrets about, having to deal with that publicly? Because sometimes you like to deal with things, especially family. I like to deal with family behind closed doors. I don't want people to see that me and family bickering.
The problem is, it's like some of the stuff I didn't really have a say in.
Right.
like when you're on reality TV, sometimes they like to surprise you with some stuff.
Right.
Like, surprise, here goes your daughter's daddy, and it's like, what the hell you doing on here? It's that type of stuff that you be like, okay. So yeah, sometimes certain situations I wish I didn't have to deal with on TV, but it's part of what I am doing.
Right. Is your mom and Todd good now? Come on. Yeah, I mean,
they are not horrible now, but I think Todd.
What was the hold up with your mom and Todd?
My mom.
She don't think anybody's good enough for her daughter, does she?
No, my mom. Okay, my mom was old school, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I think she would. She would prefer that I had married somebody who had more money than me.
Well, damn.
What?
She want you to marry a Rockefeller, a professional athlete? I mean, what?
I mean, probably. I don't know. I mean, it's that old school mentality.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And and nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm not saying anything.
But you love who you love.
You love who you love. And then on top of that, I just kind of feel like she didn't see the value in my husband.
Right.
Meaning that Yeah, you know how like the Neo song. I mean, I'm a movement by myself. Wait,
Right.
I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together.
Right.
That's how I feel about me and Todd.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I was making moves before Todd and I got together, but we're a force together. Like,
okay.
It's leveled up even more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that he gets the credit or the respect of what he brings to the table.
Because you were so successful before he got there.
Yes.
So people are not gonna give him the credit. They're not gonna give him the credit.
And I don't think that's fair. And obviously that can be frustrating to him.
Right.
And I think, you know, the situation with my mom and him is like, over the years, she's said a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, she feel like we come from a big family and everybody talk crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they feel like you're just supposed to get over it.
Right.
And I think he's at the point where he's tired of just being
getting over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you stop saying some of that stuff, and then therefore I don't have to get over it.
Yeah, that's kind of where they are right now.
Okay. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we do something before two something.